Good evening. This is Debbie Broughton, your Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from St. Robert, Missouri. I'm here in Nana's Stampin' Room this evening to have my class for my January sales. If you spent $50 or more in January, then you get this class for free. So I know I'm a little bit late. I usually try to do this more at the beginning. I should have really had it in February, but I got behind and I had my December class in February. So now I have my January class in March. But I'm going to try to hurry and do my February class in March also and get back on track. You know, the holidays just kind of put me off. And then I was doing the fabulous February fun folds every day for 2 weeks. And I kind of forgot about doing the video for the class. So here I am. If you're here and you could say hello, that would be great. These are the 4 cards that people received. All the cut and die cut things to make the card. The only thing I can't do is stamp. So if you notice, the only thing here are some greetings, which everybody has greetings. And this is from the ephemera, I can never say that word right, pack. And those are words that come from there. And you get the ribbon. If there's ribbon, you get the little bees if there's embellishments. So it now says 6:03, so we're going to get started. I think we're going to start with this one. Like I said, I wanted to show you how to use, we have all the new packs of ephemera, which is what scrapbooking industry calls the punch outs, that you can either do scrapbook pages with or to make cards. So let's just see what we have here. We have a lemon lolly. A lemon lolly card base. I think maybe I used Daffodil Delight on mine, but then I switched it because I think that the lemon lolly looked better. So I went ahead and switched it. And I don't use lemon lolly very often. So I'm going to crease my fold here. And then I have these little pieces for the bottom of the inside. I have Pool Party here to put, oh, I know why I did it, because I switched to the DSP that had the flowers on there instead of this one that has the little flowers and the leaves. These are bigger flowers and bigger leaves. That's why I switched. But we could still use the Pool Party behind it because it kind of helps these little dots appear and the flowers stand out a lot better if you put, I think, if you put something behind it. I could have maybe put lemon lolly behind it. That would have worked too. So, this is kind of an easy one to do. What we want to do is, we don't really want to, you're going to be able to see it if you put a lot of glue behind your piece of vellum here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put a little few pieces behind like some of these flowers, and then they won't show up as much. So, I have my Stampin' Seal here. You could also use mono adhesive. If it acts like it doesn't want to roll, I just roll it on my finger to get it started. And then that helps it, especially on vellum because it's so slippery. Okay, so I kind of just put it in different places behind the flowers. You could, some of these leaves are even big enough, you could put it behind the leaves. You know, it was so long ago that I cut the paper for these cards and I designed them back in January that's why I didn't remember I switched my vellum. I was having a hard time finding the stamp sets that I used for the greetings, too. I need to start writing them down when I design the class, and then I won't have to be looking through everything to find out what I used. So now we're going to add this to our card base. There we go. And then let me get some dimensionals here. I have all like these sheets that have some taken out of them, and some of them are getting down to just the edges. So I'm going to try to use all those up before I get new ones out. So I'm going to take this Thinking of You. Like I said, it's already stamped and everything. And I'm going to place it up here in the corner. And then I'm going to pop up the nest right down here. And then I'm going to slip the branch and the little leaves in there. These leaves are different than the ones on this, just because I didn't have enough of these for everybody in the class, so I switched mine. And so other people might have got one like this, but they're basically the same. So let's see. Let's lay this down and see if we're going to have to cut. I think we're going to have to cut some of it off because it's so long. We're just going to kind of guess here. So that looks pretty good. So I just know I have to cut off. I'm just going to cut off a tad of this branch so that it's not hanging out over the card. Okay. So now here we go with our nest. Now I want to remember to leave some room to space these apart so I have room to stick in the extra pieces. So I think I'll put in these 3. And I'm just going to put this one down in this corner. This is just going to make a lovely quick card without any stamping. So I'm going to see if this, I forgot I need a new thing of glue, I think. Oh, no, it's working good. I was making some cards earlier this afternoon and I came in here to start this and I noticed I left the lid off. But it is still working, so that makes me happy. Okay, so that looks good there. And we're just going to put a little bit of the glue on the back of this branch. I'm just putting some little dots. And now I'm going to stick this branch in here. Alright. I tried to do it so I wouldn't run into any of my, there we go, dimensionals. So there we have the branch. And then what else do we need? We need some bees. Here's my bees. I'm almost out of these bees. I've been using them a lot. They're just so cute. So I'm just going to add 3 dots of glue. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to get my Pick-a tool and use my putty side. I almost need to put on my new putty. But it still works good. So there's one bee. You want to get them right side up. And you would get the 3Bs in your kit. There's a little plastic bag usually in the kit that has your embellishments and your ribbons. And this one here. Okay. There we go. And then I have an inside for my card. I have my bag of insides that I cut. And I am going to put one of these, but it's not quite long enough. Let me see if this one's longer. So I'm going to leave like a little border around it. There's not going to be very many places for me to hide my my Stampin' Seal. But I don't think people will notice it too much on the bottom of the card. So I'm just going to put some across there. It's definitely sticky. There we go. That just kind of ties the inside to the front. And there we go. One card finished. Now, some of you might have gotten the blue with the little white flowers. Some of you might have gotten the yellow flowers. Only because you only get so many sheets when with the vellum. So, I can't say who got what, but we shall see. Because I just cut them all and put them in stacks and then put them in envelopes. All right. So that one is finished. Let me see if this is... Okay. So the next one we're going to make is this. I just was thinking, I haven't made a distressed card in a long time. And I used to just love making them. So I decided... And you might not have Spotlight on Nature to have that flower, but I'm sure you have some flowers or something else that you could use as a butterfly, something that you could use as a focal point. So, by the magic of video, I already have my flower colored and cut out. This is my card front, it's my inside, and this is for my greeting. So, let's start out with creasing our card base like we always do. That's always step number one. And then we're going to kind of lay this up here while we work on the other things. So this is the piece behind now. I know you think this looks darker than that this piece looks darker, but what I did was I took the crumb cake and I stamped in the set of Spotlight on Nature. It has this little stamp here that kind of looks like a hash mark, and it has some little dots down here. So what I did, I took the dots and I took the little hash marks and I put them on blocks. And I stamped. Just randomly stamp. Oh, I have to be careful. It's making a halo there. I just kind of randomly stamped them. And it's not going to matter about the halo because this piece is going to hide most of it. Okay, then I went through and added some dots. And like I said, you really don't have to do the middle too much because it's not going to show when we put on the other piece. Okay, so then what I did was I took the crumb cake And this is going to make a mess on my glass mat, but I have my alcohol wipes here waiting and ready to clean it up. So I'm just going to take my stamp pad and just kind of rub it on here. This is called, oh, I got it too dark, direct to paper. I really didn't want it to get it that dark. So let me start over on this side. I just wanted to do it very lightly. And it's okay if it's not evenly dark around the whole piece because it's a distressed card. So, there we go. Well, that didn't make too much of a mess on my glass, did it? Alright, so now let me leave this open and stamp some more of those things on there. And then we'll get some of the hashtags. These are not going to show up a whole lot. They're just kind of to give it some texture and make it look more worn. Okay. So next what I did was I took my scissors, my paper snips, and I opened them up, and then I just went around the edges and kind of roughed up the edges with them. Like this. It just kind of makes the edge roll a little. And looks a little frayed. You could do this as little or as much as you like, depending on how distressed you want your card to look. You have to kind of hold it firmly close to where you're doing it so the paper doesn't bend. So there we go. That just kind of gives us a little rough edge. Now what I did with this piece, which is the basic beige, before the video started, I wet the paper, I crumbled it up, and then I let it dry. So I had to do that ahead of time. If you want, you can use, I did use the heat embossed gun just a little bit on it to speed it up. But basically, you want to kind of let it dry naturally. So that's just going to give it that. And again, what we're going to do is we're going to get our ink pad. And this time, the raised pieces should get darker maybe than just the paper. See how it's going to want to stick to those lines bigger? And you just want to kind of get some color on there. I'm not sure how I got so much color underneath on the sample. Because basically you just want the lines to get darker. If you wanted to, I know what you could do. I'm sorry, I made this in January, and sometimes things don't stay with me all the way till March. You could take your blending brush and just kind of blend some on there. You got the darkness from using the ink pad for the lines, and now you can just kind of darken up the background a little bit with your blending brush. Anything that you want to do just to make it look a little worn. Plus, I bet my crumb cake's probably getting pretty dry after making the sample and now making this one. I need to probably re-ink it. So there we go. That looks pretty worn to me. So what we can do next is we could take this piece and we're going to add it to the top of this one. And it's probably really better to use the mono adhesive because my Stampin' Seal wants to kind of grab the paper since it's been wet and it's so wrinkled, and I don't want it to tear my paper more. So I'm going to use my mono adhesive, and I'm going to put this in the middle. See if that looks pretty, it's a little crooked. It's not going to matter if it's a little crooked really, because again, it's a distressed card. Okay, so your hands are going to pick up the crumb cake some from making this. The next thing we're going to do is take our twine, and I wrapped it around 3 times. So what I want to do is put some tear and tape here on the back. I know I laid my tear and tape out here somewhere. Here it is. Oh, can you see this is my cord to my phone because my phone was on 20% or less. I didn't realize that was like hanging there in the picture. So I'm going to put a little piece of tear and tape right on this side. And another piece on this side. And I'm going to take off the white paper. And it's going to stick to my fingers because it's static. Do you remember when we used to have the sticky tape? It came with this red plastic on it, and you had to peel it. That used to have a lot of static electricity on it. It would just stick to your hand for the longest time. All right, so we're going to take this. I'm hoping I have enough on here to make it 3 times. If I don't, I'll just do it how many ever times I have enough for. I have more, but I'm not going to get up and get it right now. So I did 1, 2, and I'm only going to get it twice, but that's all right. Find my ribbon scissors. And then I did give you a little bow that you could stick on here with a glue dot. But I don't want, I can get up and get some more linen thread, but that will just, I will go ahead and do that. I was thinking it'll take time on the video, but it'll just take a moment. Well, of course, if I said, oh, I have lots of linen thread, I can find every color except for the beige color. So I'm gonna leave the bow off mine. I know I have some, but I don't want to waste more time looking for it. So you would just take your bow and use a glue dot, and it'll look like you went around and around and tied it. Then I'm going to take my piece here that I've already colored and cut out, and I'm going to just add a little bit of adhesive, little dots of it, so that it will lay down. And I am going to slip it underneath this twine or thread. I found my twine, but it's thicker than this thread, so it won't look right if I do a bow with that. And then I stick my focal point on there. Now we can add this to the front of our card base. I should just go ahead and tie myself a bow when I'm tying everybody else's. I thought maybe I had, but I'm looking at my basket and it's not there. So we'll put some more adhesive back here. And center this. Oh, I don't want this piece of tear and tape to be hanging out like that. And we're going to evenly add this to the front. Now we're going to stamp our words here. Let me clean these real quick so I can put them away. I have my purple chamois. I keep it in my old Stampin' Scrub box to keep it wet for as long as I can. And then I'm going to find the words Dear Friend, which they are laying right here somewhere. Oh, this one says Dearest Friend. We will see if Dearest Friend will, how that will look with this. That's what I mean. I shouldn't do them so far ahead that I forget which stamp sets I take them out of. Or I could say Missing You. I like that too. Missing You. Hold on one second. I have to get my dog to come in here because I can tell he must have got a piece of paper or something because he's chewing it up. He always runs around when he does that. Herbie! Herbie! So I will just make him come in the stamping room with me because he's getting into trouble out there. You cannot leave a piece of mail, an envelope, a paper towel, or anything laying on the table or on the counter. He just finds it. I'm not sure exactly why. He waits until you're busy doing something like this, and then he runs in. I found the Dear Friend now. It's in the Spotlight of Nature. So now I won't have to worry what he's doing, and I'll have to see what a mess I have when I get finished here. Oh, I got a halo. There we go. This is a good card for a Missing You greeting. Again, we're going to get our dimensionals and we're going to pop it up. You should see what happens if he accidentally gets in my stamping room when I'm not in here with the trash can that's full of all the little pieces of paper. Oh, he just loves it. And you can always tell when he does because he just gets so excited that he's running and throwing the piece of paper around and catching it. So he kind of gives himself away. That's why I always leave this door shut. Because I also now have a trash can in here where the lid opens and closes automatically. So it's always, until he figures out how to do that, I should be good. You just have to wave your hand over it and it opens. Okay, so let's use some dimensionals. Not dimensionals, some embellishments here. We have these cork ones. They're not available anymore, but you might have had them from when they were available, I think, in the spring mini last year. So I joined a group where you get a little sample of all the embellishments, so that's why I have them like this. It's kind of a nice, then you can just kind of see which ones you really like and which ones you want to purchase. So here's my vanilla inside. And finally, we're finished with card number 2. So now we'll see what we run into when we get to card number 3. Let me clean this mess. Let me clean this. If I don't clean them right when I'm doing them, then I end up with all these blocks sitting around with stamps on them. And when I'm die cutting, I have dies laying. So I kind of like to pick them up as I finish now. Then I won't have so much to do later. This is what I'm looking for. And I'm sure I will find it. But I have the other 2 cards. We have them right here. So I couldn't have taken them very far. Does this ever happen to you when you hear I set the spotlight of nature on top of them? It happens to me a lot. Okay. So I really like this card too with the new beautiful butterfly set. With Berry Burst and Pretty in Pink. And then a little bit of Summer Splash to go in there. Sometimes I get the Summer Splash and the Shy Shamrock mixed up. I can tell them apart when they're laying next to each other, but not so much when they're apart. So let me get all these pieces out of here. And we will crease our card base. This comes from the Unbounded Beauty DSP. This side is peach. This side is kind of pool party, Pretty in Pink, and Berry Burst mixed together. So we're just going to take this piece and we're going to glue it down to our card base because there's nothing else that we have to do with it. I'm making a zinnia card, and these zinnias are extra ones that I had cut. Okay. So we have that piece done. Now we're going to take the butterfly, and the first thing we're going to do is to stick this onto here. Now, if you wanted to, when you had, if you have those adhesive sheets, you could cut out the butterfly with the adhesive sheets. Or, for me, it actually has enough spots to put the dots of glue that aren't too skinny that work. So I did not use the adhesive sheets. But if it was really little and skinny, that's a good idea to do. Oh, and I see one that didn't get popped. You'll have to look and be sure that they all got popped out, because I miss them sometimes, or because most times they fall out too when they're traveling to get to you. But I see one that did not pop out. So it would help if I put my pokey tool on the bottom instead of the spatula. No, I lost where it was. It's up here. There we go. I got it now. It was being stubborn. And I'm going to center this on my Berry Burst butterfly. Those two colors just look so pretty together. This is the In Color shimmer paper. That's where I got this Pretty in Pink glimmer paper. Then I put, you know, I might as well do this. I'm going to trim off these antenna, because I think it looks better than having the black antenna be over the Berry Burst one. So I'm just going to carefully cut those off, because it looks nicer just to have the black one. Now that I've dropped the body, here it is. Again, I'm just going to put like a dot at the head and a little dot in the middle, and I'm going to line it up down here. And I'm going to hold it here for a minute. And see, I put too big of a drop because some came out there. All right, now it is ready to go on our card front. I guess I want to go ahead and stamp Time to Celebrate up here. I know, I should have done it before I glued it down, because that's the rule, isn't it? That you have to glue them down before, stamp on it before you glue them down, but I wasn't thinking. So the Time to Celebrate comes from the Beautiful Butterfly set, and it's right here. Time to Celebrate. Now my stamp is stained because I used it with Berry Burst, and when you use it with a red color, I think it fits better like diagonally like this, and since this photopolymer and it's see-through, I can still see how to get it straight on the card. Okay. So, we're going to call this Good. There we go. This is not a very hard card either. Our last one is the one that it'll take the most time. Well, there. Okay, so we're going to kind of take our stamp and seal here and put down this butterfly. You know, it just takes practice with the stamp and seal to get the seal, to get the right pressure. Because at first when I got it, the whole first roll I ruined because I kept messing it up. It kept coming out too fast, or it would come out with no sticky on it, but it was mostly operator error that was causing it. Now I need the In Color dots here. Like I said, I think, well, now we're going to have barking since he's in here. So we're just going to take some off this side over here. We'll see if our putty will work. It's not going to work, so I'm going to use the spatula. For this one, I'm just going to put one big one, two little ones. I'm not sure what combination you got in your packet because I kind of just cut them off and be sure that you have 3 of them. That one I put up a little bit too high. Needs to go more right there. There we go. And then we have a glue dot for the bow. Here's my glue dots. Oh, I think it's about time I could tear off some tape, or what do you think? Here's my first glue dot. Now I want to pull my tails down the way that I like them. Get it off my finger, and then I know that this one is too long, but I didn't want to trim it till I had it on there. And I have this little pink butterfly to put on the inside piece that's inside the card. And you could put, you know, time to celebrate on the inside. You could say happy birthday. Even maybe a shower present for a baby girl. Lots of different things you could celebrate. Graduating. Next year I have 2 of my grandchildren graduating in May of 2026 from high school. They just grow up so fast. So I just want to kind of lay this butterfly here in the corner. That looks pretty good. Let me see, I got a little glue here. I'm just going to pick it up now. Otherwise, I will end up with it on my hands. Okay. And this will go inside my card when I decide what I want to stamp on the inside. Let's see. There. See, I have a little butterfly in there. Okay. Now we're on to the last card, which is one of my favorites. Although it is a little complicated, but not too hard. So again, see, this is where I used the vellum paper with the little flowers, and that's why I had to switch. Some people got the big yellow flowers on their nest one because I had used the blue on this. So let's see what's inside of our envelope. We have all our pieces. Crease the card base. Now this one's going to be a horizontal card, so we want to be sure we lay our card base the right way so we don't mix things up. The first thing we want to do is to add, oh, I put these extra, I don't know why I put these in here. I had to cut a copper and a white frame out. So now I have some extra white frames to do something with. Okay, so first we're going to put our vellum on the back, some tape on the back, and then add it to the card base. I'm trying to decide which side looks darker. I think it's this side. So this is the back side. And this paper is busy enough that you're not going to notice if you can see the stamp and seal behind it. I'm just going to put a little in each corner and a little in the middle. So we'll get this centered, left to right, top to bottom. Okay, now, what I did for your door is because I didn't know if you would have tear and tape. So I went ahead and put the copper door back into the frame. I'm calling it a door, it's the inside of the frame. And then I added a piece of tear and tape that went half on the frame, half on the inside piece. Therefore, when you open it like this, but what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take this off, which is going to make it very sticky down this side of the, what we're going to call our door. So you're going to need an embossing buddy or a little piece of paper to stick on there, just so that it won't stay closed all the time if it gets glued down. So I'm going to take off this tear and tape. Perhaps I am. It looks like it's been on there since I made these, so it should have had time to stick to the paper. Oh, I hope I don't mess this up. Oh, there we go. I got it. Okay, sometimes I mess things up when I'm doing the cards, and so I leave those for me. So that is why, if you can see, my door is tore right down there at the bottom, because I figured I was just going to be able to glue it down correctly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my embossing buddy, and it doesn't matter if I get this side of the tear and tape also not sticky, but mostly I just want to get that inside door. It just doesn't open up smoothly enough when you leave the paper on the back. So now I'm just going to take some of my adhesive here, and I am going to add some dots all around the frame. Then we're going to decide where we want to put this. We're going to put this, excuse me, right here on this side. I think this card is so cute, but it does take just a little bit to make it. And we're going to see, will our door, I have to get this edge glued first. We're going to see if this door will open up, and it does. I must not have put enough glue up here at the top. I'm going to put a spot of glue down here. It's so skinny. Okay. So now we're going to put some adhesive on the back of this white piece. And we're going to slide it in there. It should fit perfectly because I cut it, I cut the whole thing out in white so that I would have a inside. Then our door will close. Okay. Then I just realized I didn't put my little pink knob in there, but I have them right here. There we go. So that's our knob. And what goes inside of our magic door? Inside goes a duck. Some people got this duck, some people got this duck, and there were 3 different ducks. At first I wanted to call them goose, like Mother Goose. But their feet look, I'm not sure what a goose's feet look like. But it looks more like a duck to me. So there we go. We can add this to our card base now. Just be careful you don't want to press too hard when you're putting this on over the door because it's got that pearl or that embellishment on it. All right, move these back. Now here's our little thing that we're going to make look like a sign, and it's going to say, hello, friend. So now we're on the hunt for hello, friend. It's here because I looked for it ahead of time. It's just I have a whole stack of stamp sets here that I've been using today. Here it is. It's the storybook one, which is where the duck comes from. This paper comes from the Country Woods with the birdhouse. I need to find a block. We want to get this straight. That's why I love the food polymer. Because it's so easy because you can see through them when you're getting ready to stamp. I thought maybe I had a hair on there. Okay, so we're going to say, hello, friend. Going to line this up straight. I'm going to try to put it between those 2 lines. There, that worked out pretty good. Now I just kind of cut a little post for the sign. And then we're going to put that on the card front. And now I do have a hair here. I'm just going to put this sign right here. And I use the bees again because I just think they're so cute. So we'll put one here, one down here, and one right here above the sign. I had to get it turned over so that it was right side up. Can you tell I might have a little glue on my hands? I don't know. I am just so messy with glue that my hands are always sticky. So we got one more. Oops, and that one fell in there backwards, did it? Wait, I have to see. It did. So now when that dries, I'm going to have to use my embossing buddy to make it be not sticky. Because then it will stick to the envelope. So now I have my inside piece here. Now since we went horizontal with this card instead of vertical, our little pieces that I have left over aren't as long enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it down the side here. Again, I'm just going to add glue to the back because nobody's probably going to notice it here on the inside of the card that you can see that line of glue. You'd see it much better if it was just a piece of vellum with no color or decoration on it. Then for sure you could see it. So there we go. Card number 4. I hope that you enjoyed this class, and if in March you put in a $50 order with me, you will be able to get a free class that you will actually do it in April, so that we give all of March for people to purchase what they would like. So I'm just trying to lay them out here so we can see everything that we made. We made 2 of everything. Well, I hope you have fun, and post some pictures of the cards after you get them finished, because you can always add or change or do anything you like with the material that you get. Have a great evening. See you later. Bye.